straight off the bat, she was like, "I'm not singing that," and I was like, "Oh," she said, "It's far too wordy. We got to
Okay.
strip this back." And I was like, "Oh, but darling, this is my story about so."
Some guests are serious, some are really funny. What are you waiting for? Come and get this honey. It's absolute bedlam, absolute bedlam, absolute bedlam. Join the hype, like and subscribe.
That's a really good question.
Hello and welcome to another special episode of Absolute Bedlam podcast. Got Rob and Karolina on the podcast. So we've spoken to Rob a couple of times. Very good with timing, by the way. Very, very reliable, very drum-like. Count you in and all that.
Always.
Very good. Recently got to meet Rob as well. I met you obviously at Echo Town for a very, very brief period of time. But we got to spend most of the afternoon together at the Drum Fest.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy that, just to kick things off? How was that sort of overall for you?
Yeah, it was really good, Tom, I think had some issues running it because these things, there's no textbook for running these kind of events, particularly because you're dealing with human beings and things can always go wrong. People could be late. And he did a great job. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I met yourself. I met a load of people that are friends on Facebook and Instagram that I've never met before, signed a few things. Those sort of things are always quite fun.
Yeah.
The performance was great, though someone stole my carpet, but that's a whole nother thing
Oh
for another
yeah,
day.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it back, by the way. But so there were some bizarre things, but it actually turned out really good.
Good.
And I was really proud of my performance. And it's Drum Dog filmed it, and it's been out on the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
And people are liking it, and I'm getting a lot of nice comments from people. Obviously, Emma Taylor and Thomas Lang are like the headlines, if you like. But I got a lot of love as well from people saying, "But I really liked your set because you did this rather than that and the other." And
Yeah.
that's all you can hope for, like a band. That's all you can hope for, that people
Yeah.
watch you. And I think what happened was, because I wasn't doing all of the playing along with samples and loops,
Mm,
and I was just literally me on the smallest jazz kit you could get,
mm.
and a pair of sticks, mallets, my hands, obviously,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah. Yeah.
tambourine or two. I just played the drums without all
Yeah.
of the extra add-ons, and I think a lot of people were taken by that. So it kind of
Yeah.
worked out in the
Yeah.
end, really.
That was good. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't really sure what to expect with that drum fest, but I thought,
No.
it's the first of its kind. If I don't show up, it might not be a second. Like, let's just go and enjoy it for what it is. And I didn't have to work. And, I have
Yeah.
this horrible thing where I'm like, oh, I should turn this into a podcast. And it's like, let's just go and just enjoy it and have a couple of drinks and just, actually
Unwind.
unwind. Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was really fun. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think it went well. And he's already booked me for next year.
Awesome.
I think I can do it, though I might be on tour with Lorena McKinnett, but I don't know.
Okay.
I need to check. But yeah, it was great. And like you said, if you don't support these things, they don't happen.
Hmm.
So for all the things that maybe could have gone a little bit better for Tom and the show, nobody
Hmm.
out front saw that. It was just behind the scenes. And I
Yeah.
think he did a grand job with that, if that's his very first one, which it was. So well
Yeah.
done him. No,
Yeah.
second one. It was the second one, I think. So
Okay.
well
Cool.
done him. And he'll know
Yeah.
more by the third one. And it just grows. Because when you've
Yeah.
got something like the UK drum show, the amount of money and support and backing that goes into that, it's
Mhm.
almost like a TV show.
Yeah.
It's established. But for people like Tom trying to start from the ground up, he did a good job.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. There's a lot going on, and at one point there was like four drum kits on the stage, and it's just a really fun time though, and it was cool to like actually sit down and just watch someone do their thing,
Yeah.
rather than it just being like a Q&A and the audience have to participate. It was like, right, this is, how I approach, and everyone's got their own voice on drums as well. I think that's something that people seem to forget is, guitarists and singers clearly have a voice with their instrument, but drums actually has its own attitude and its own sort of, yeah, it's good fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It's good
it
fun.
does. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Awesome.
They do.
So, Carolina, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going good.
Good.
Looking forward for this interview. Yeah, how are
All right.
you?
I'm good. Yeah, yeah. So let's get this out the way early because I'm sure everyone's got a question about this. How did you first meet Rob?
I met Rob a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I hired him to play with my trio in Bath, and yeah, well, that's how we met.
Yeah.
And he played a few gigs with me with my band, and then since then you sort of sent a few songs that you were working on, and here we are here now.
Yeah. It was
Very
just
good.
one of those things. I literally just thought I was going to be turning up, and as we talked at the drum show, we're all depping musicians, and
Mm,
I
mm,
I dep for people, and I have the bands that I'm in, and they have to dep for me, and I just got the call from Carolina to do it, and I went, and I hadn't even heard her voice before, and I really enjoyed her voice on that gig. She booked me again for another one, which was great. Really liked her voice again, and I thought I'm going to pluck up the courage to ask if she wants to sing on some of my material, which I was
yeah.
shy about sending out, and I sent them to a few people, but I just knew they weren't right, and I
Mm,
didn't even take them into the studio to work on stuff, and it was like, I
mm,
don't know, I made some contacts and put the word out, and Carolina said yes, and I thought, oh, is this going to work? And then we got together in the studio, and it was actually on Crimson, I think, was the first thing we did.
Mhm.
yeah.
And and obviously when I sent her the MP3s, I was worried. She was like, I really like it, yeah. Let me know your ideas. I've got some ideas. And it worked out. She didn't laugh at my music and stuff, and then we talked about, collab,
Yeah.
collabs. And this is where we are, and this is why Midnight Neon
Yeah.
has taken off.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was a neat start. It was a, well, we were not expecting a lot. Well, at least me. I think we just went and just tried it. Yeah, it was,
Very
I think
cool.
it was,
Because it's always 50-50. You just don't know.
No.
As you know, I mean, you're a musician,
Yeah.
it can go either way.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go great, it's okay. You have a laugh and say, great, nice one, and see you soon.
Yeah.
But this went well, and it was like it sort of
Mm,
yeah, it showed us that there was more to come, and I didn't mind relinquishing some of the reins, if you like,
yeah.
because
Okay.
each time
Yeah.
someone says, I want to work on your stuff, you think, oh, and I've got ideas. You can get a little bit like, oh, hang on a minute, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
and you did a little bit.
And I did a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But straight off the bat, she was like, I'm not singing that. And I was like, oh, shit, it's far too wordy. We got to
Okay.
strip this back. And I was like, oh, but darling, this is my story about so. She was like, and she was like, but it's not gonna work. It's not
Yeah.
gonna work. I'm telling you, I'm a vocalist, you're not. And she's very straight talking, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's not going to work. And I was like, whoa, okay. So I was a bit offended for a minute. And I was like, actually, if
Yeah.
I'm going to let this grow and become something, which
Yeah.
I desperately wanted to happen with someone whose voice I actually liked, then I just thought I've got to do this. And sure enough, you sent me the lyrics, didn't you? Changed it.
I did.
And we recorded it. And I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, hang on a minute. No, that's really good. And I see what she means.
There's definitely something to be said about the economy of words. I think this is something that a lot of comedians struggle with as well. Is
Mm.
how do I get from this place to this place without rambling and just going and making a 34-minute song? Like, how can I actually sort of trim the hedge and actually get to the point without going all the way around the houses? And I think some of the best songs I've heard recently is a guy called Youngblood. And a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of his songs are like under 3 minutes long. They're very to the point, they're very direct, and they have a theme. And yeah, there are obviously bands out there, very proggy bands usually, like Dream Theater, that release 17-minute songs. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's obviously a concept that people can, there's a guy as well called Steve Wilson
Yep,
who
I love Steve.
drops
I love the
like
new album, by the
24
way.
minute songs, yeah. But there's
Yeah,
obviously an appetite for that. But if you're just trying to get, a certain point across, then it doesn't need to be labored. It should be quite understood by the audience what you're trying to say. Yeah,
and that was
love
your
that.
exact point. That was your, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it also depends. I mean, melodically and stuff. It's just what I tried to make it easier. Well, not easier for myself, but that it would just sound good. And I'm glad that you then seen it.
Yeah,
Better sometimes.
you were right. You said all the things that Ben just said. It's got to make sense to somebody, you know, and it has to come across, not be too long and not be too wordy. I was getting far too wordy, like getting on into all kinds of,
Mm.
crazy places, which is creative and lovely, but like you rightly said, it needs to be thinned out,
But you
you
just
know.
had to match the instrumental version. And as a poem, it was great, but it needed
Mm.
much
Yeah,
less.
good point.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
You never had that before.
Oh,
Thank you.
nice.
yeah,
Oh, I'll take that. Thank you.
yeah. Love that, love that. Just a quick one for Carolina as well, then we'll talk about the actual project, Midnight Neon. How did you first get into music, Carolina?
I got into music at about 14, 15 years old. That's where I got into jazz, and then a few years later started playing a few gigs back home in Lithuania. And then 2018 I moved to UK to Bristol and
Mm.
sort of continued my dream to yeah, have a jazz band and play live gigs. But your heart is as black as night. So I've done that, and now I am still doing that and recording Midnight Neon Project and some other ones at the moment, and also running some events for my Carolina's Jazz Club, which I really enjoy as well. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Lots
You're
and lots
busy.
of different irons in the fire. Yeah.
She's doing so much. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm knackered now, just hearing it.
Yeah, honestly, there's so many things. I can't do that this week because I'm doing this project. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
that's all
yeah.
right, fine. When you got time for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Self-discipline. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, lots of that.
Love that, love that. Midnight Neon, how
Yeah.
did that concept sort of first come about, and how did you know what sort of music you wanted to record? And also, where did the song, not the song name, the band name come from?
oh,
Wow.
I mean, with the band name, I feel like that was quite a pain
It
that we
was.
went through.
Yes.
We tried to take the out of the papers and tried to mix
Okay.
different words and
I can't remember what that's called, but David Bowie used to do it, and
Hmm.
Burroughs, the author, used to do it, cutting up words and then bringing out random things.
yeah,
And we tried all sorts, but they were just all. I mean, I know it's subjective, but none of
Yeah.
them sort of were snappy. They were just like
yeah,
crocodile trousers or something. It was just like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Just mental. Yeah.
yeah,
Doesn't make any
parsnip
sense.
dog or something.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like, oh, what's going on?
It wasn't really working, and
No.
we did basically everything. We tried to AI, we tried to the old-fashioned ways with the papers. We did everything, and how did we?
I think midnight was one of the words, and
Mhm.
I think neon was one of the words.
It was the song was called one of the songs was called Neon or something, and
Okay.
Just
yeah,
yeah, one of the
Yeah.
ideas that I'd written, that song started as a basic idea, and I sent it to Carolina. I
Mm.
said, "Look, I've got this idea because Crimson went well. I sent her a few
Mm.
others. Some she liked, me scrapped, kept. Some she didn't like, so I've put them on a back burner for now. But one was called Neon, and she said again, straight talking. I don't like the beginning, I don't like the end, but that bit in the middle is wicked. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, right, that bit. I thought those bits were wicked each end. She's like, well, not to me. So
Mm.
I took the middle bit and we looped it. And
Mm.
again, by then I'd relinquished some of that, the reins. And I sent it to her. I said, what do you think about words? Because I've got none. This is our
Yeah.
first proper collaboration. Like, let's do
mhm.
this. And then you come up with this whole story.
So that were really the name also came out really off because of him calling it Neon, and
Yes.
then
And then one of
it
the
was
words
the
was
first song that we worked on. And yeah,
And one of the words was midnight, and we were like, "Oh, midnight neon." We tried all sorts of things. What's the one I liked about some courtyard? It was really again too
yeah,
wordy. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
Courtyard after midnight or something. It was
Yeah.
like, oh God.
yeah.
And then you just said, "What about
And
midnight neon?" I was like,
yeah, and then we
"Okay."
warmed up to it. It wasn't immediate like click, but yeah, we
No.
warmed up to the name, and now we feel like we own that.
Yeah. And the minute you hear Crimson and Martini
Yeah.
True, more to the point, it
Yeah.
feels like it's Midnight Neon. It just feels like, yeah,. That's the thing, And of course, you're going to get people that go Midnight Neon, and it's
Yeah.
like fine, whatever your response to what it is,
Yeah.
But we really like it, and we feel it matches the project. It's got a very sort of chilled Cafe Del Mar
Yeah.
kind of Massive Attack kind of.
Yeah.
Actually, someone said to me today, I forgot to tell you this. Someone said it sounds like Grace Jones as well.
Mm.
The Private Life period when she was doing the Sly and Robbie stuff. And that's kind of cool too. We all of that stuff we love, and Portishead, whatever. It's
Mhm.
all in. It's all
Mm.
we're up for all of it. As long as people doesn't say it sounds exactly like it, but it reminds me of, then I'm happy.
Mhm.
And so are you, aren't you?
Might have to get Clive from Portishead on a track.
There you go.
You
Yeah,
know
I'll
him, don't
sit.
you? Yeah, yeah.
I do
He's
know
one of your
Clive.
mates.
Clive's lovely. I've known him for
Love
many
that.
years. He's
So
brilliant.
the song 100 Night Passes, is that finished yet, or is that still a bit of a draft work in progress at the moment?
Well, the words are done, of course.
Okay.
The lyricist, she's on it. She's done
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I
Um,
mean, it's not fully finished, but it's
no,
almost there.
it's
Cool.
almost there. We've got verses, choruses. We've got all the things we need. It's just putting them together. And a lot of the stuff we do, Ben, it's almost like band in a box. I'll do it on GarageBand or Logic, get it together, and we'll ship it backwards and forwards to each other.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably go to the studio on maybe on a Sunday. I mean, I'm there at the moment recording with Little Men at the moment for 4 or 5 days, but I haven't got time. But when I'm there on my own, I'll just, get my Focusrite out or just play it on my phone and play ideas. And I've got the drum groove for it, and I've got ideas. And I'm also playing the bass, synth bass on most of this stuff, aren't
Okay.
I? And yeah, and we just keep shipping it around. So eventually, at some point, I'm going to go back in and track it properly, and then we can add all the stuff that's on Logic to the click, chuck it all in with my drum part, and that's how we make the tracks. And it doesn't take long to get it together. But because we're not a live unit, then we will be doing gigs, which we'll talk
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of how we do it, isn't it? We to and
Yeah.
fro the ideas, and
And it's nice to do like pre-production sessions as well, where we both, well, where you get involved as well with writing lyrics, which is we sort of try to share the roles, but it's nice to just get back together like once in a week or once in 2 weeks and just like see what we've done, and you
Yeah.
adjust some of the lyrics, and then I say, oh, I like that sound on the track and stuff like that. So it's
that's
quite a nice, yeah, very collaborative project.
So
totally that's how it's gone.
currently, if you were to play live, like you're playing a gig next month, aren't you?
Yes.
Mhm.
How many songs have you actually got in the bag that you can play live?
4.
That's
If we're being
decent.
blatantly honest, and we only need 3 at this
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
anyway.
Well, Crimson's
So
7 minutes long, so you put
yeah,
four
Yeah,
20
yeah.
minutes.
totally, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So they're not going to get all 4, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean that's what we've got. And people keep saying, "Oh, where's the album?" It's like, well, as you just heard, Carolina's got loads of stuff going on. I've got loads of stuff going on, with our lives and everything. We've just got to try and get it together when we can and
Completely.
make it happen. So it's a slow burn because I mentioned Crimson coming out on my YouTube, didn't I, months ago? Yeah, and that's the face everyone made was like, "You've been saying that for a bloody year, Rob.
Yeah, yeah.
You've released Crimson."
Long before time had a name.
The song Crimson, and it's going to be released early July.
Yeah.
But I'd never find the right singer either, and I certainly wasn't going to do it, And I think Carolina brings that sort of personality to the songs. Though
Yeah.
Crimson's still a Midnight Neon song, but the main part of it was done beforehand, the instrumentation. There's just something about the character you bring into the music, and just changes the whole vibe of it, really.
But it also is nice to take our time. I know that like these comments that were made as well that, oh, we haven't released it, but now that we've actually released the first song, everything looks how we wanted it to look. We even the pictures and like
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's like we
Yeah.
build up the name even before, and now that we can probably will be able to release another couple maybe this year, and
definitely.
including 100 Night Passes. So it's just nice to take our time and also not that just do it just for everyone else, but for ourselves as well. Of like being very creative and about that.
I agree. I think there's something about that. And we just spent a lot of time on the boat a little while ago, didn't we, in Bristol Harbour, taking some pictures, which you've probably seen.
Yeah.
I sent you something, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I think the old school thing of, from what I remember from the 80s and 90s, of sort of building up like a persona. And there was no online then, obviously, back in the day. But it was kind of, you did it through the press and you built up this thing that people go, oh, what is that? And I think now we're all empowered with the internet. We can build that little persona thing up, and you can hide behind it a bit, in a positive way. You can build something up. and we quite like that. I mean,
Yeah, I really enjoyed like preparing, and especially for this song that we wrote, and like getting pictures done and like having this idea. I feel like that was very fulfilling. I mean,
Yeah.
even though for it will be just a picture, but for us it was like, the idea that we worked on for months, and then we can even get the visuals for it and
Mm. Mm.
just really represent the song. So I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
yeah, I think it's part of
Yeah.
it. Like you said, taking your time. There's no record company saying, "Come on, get out
No.
in 6 months." We can do it in our own time. It can be
Yeah.
right. You know,
Or wrong.
all wrong, and there
Yeah.
is no right or wrong, as we said before, Ben. It's subjective. Art is subjective anyway, And we've had a few comment. Oh, did you do this in the process of the mastering? It's like, no, we didn't actually. We didn't do that. We like the way it sounded, and we've put it out. Yeah,
Mm.
there's loads of things we could have run it through to maybe compress a bit and roll a bit off here and there, and all the technical stuff.
Mm.
But we just liked how it sounded. We checked it on our phones, we checked it on laptops, we checked it in the car, we checked it on your expensive
Yeah.
speakers at home, we checked it on
Cars.
my crappy ones here, and in the
Yeah.
studio. We tried it everywhere and we thought this sounds good to us.
Yeah.
And I think there's something about this day and age of getting music out to people. And if things are a little bit kind of, oh, well, you could have spent a bit more time. I think we're okay with that, aren't we? Because it's the feeling of getting it out there, as long as it doesn't sound like complete tripe, obviously.
Yeah.
But
But we do
Yeah.
take a lot of time still to do that. It's just, yeah, it's just if it sounded good and if ever it needs to be remastered or something, we can always do that. So
yeah, when Universal get in touch with us and
Yeah.
sign us up for that multi-million-pound deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, if Martini are watching, Martini
Yeah.
Tree,
Yeah.
come on, like let's get the t-shirts going, baseball caps, and who's drinking some Martini there? Look.
Yeah. Yeah. Sony Records
But
use code Bedlam10 at checkout for 10% off. Fucking hell, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
oh God,
Oh, then I wouldn't have to worry about buying second-hand
we're
armchairs.
waiting.
Jesus.
We are
Yeah,
seriously,
awesome.
you're seriously going to contact Martini though. She is. I know it sounds funny, but you are, aren't you?
yeah.
Why not?
She's going to contact Martini. Why not? But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good. I've got some more questions for you. I've completely forgotten what they are.
Oh, that's all right.
Who's planning to play guitar and bass on these tracks live, or is it just going to be the two of you on stage?
Well, that's a very good question. Between us, obviously, we know countless musicians. I've got people in mind. There's a friend of mine called Left Hand. Mark, his real name's Mark, but I call him Left Hand. He's a piano player. He has got a right hand though, just in case you're wondering.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
call him Left Hand, and he's offered to do the keys. He's happy to step in. I've got a friend Jerry Crozier Cole that we both know. Actually, we both know Jerry, of course we do. He's a good jazz, funk, session guitarist. He can do it all. He's up for doing some stuff, and a guy called Andy Christie's up for doing some stuff. I mean, we're not sure. I mean, you've got your Bristol guys as well, in your bands and stuff. There's Luca, all sorts of people who probably step in and do stuff. But the original thought was just going to be the two of us with visuals behind us, like a
Yeah,
multimedia thing.
okay. Hmm.
Because I think some people sort of go, oh, that. And then other people go, oh, I love that. Again, it's subjective. I personally are on the side of, I love that. If I go and see a band, like the Gotan project, I saw many years ago now. They were one of the first bands that was at the Beacon, or it was the something
Oh,
else
yeah.
then, but in Bristol. And
Hmm.
they had this whole visual thing going on where it was sort of the screen behind them with a veil in front of the screen, but it was also projected onto them. And I know the cinematic orchestra do that. That's what they're calling it. Yeah. And loads of other funk bands do it as well. But, those more kind of cinemascape, kind of soundscape bands that we like, and we try and put a bit of in our music, they really inspired us both. And when I said it to Karolina, she was like, that sounds great. So I think if the music's good and it's strong and the show isn't too long, I think two people can hold it. If the material is strong, I think two people can do it. But there will be times probably we will get guitarists and bass players that aren't on track. They'll be
Yeah.
live.
Well, yeah, I think we will start with just two of us and try to work on that, and then we'll
Yeah.
see how sort of. It depends, I guess, on the gig as well, what sort of gig we would get and things like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's
Fair enough.
exciting.
Awesome. Love that, love that. Cool. As a session musician for both of you, when it comes to writing your own music, is there anything for Midnight Neon specifically that you take a different approach to?
Good
I
question.
think I think I try to, with whoever I work with, try to learn different sort of, not strategies, but ways of how we can create. So I feel like with us was a lot of like visual stuff that we would try to see, maybe write down some words, which I really like. And then I tried that with some other people that I work with, and that really works personally to me, of like imagining having the visual first and then coming up with the lyrics or even melody sometimes, and creating the story maybe and stuff like that. So so that is definitely happening with Midnight Neon of how we write. But I tend to just try different things and try to find the what works for me, and then I bring it to Midnight Neon or to any other project.
Only Midnight Neon, of course.
Okay.
Love it.
DLC. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never asked you that before. I don't think I'd. Yeah, why would we? I suppose that's a really good question.
How do you write?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, there's certain things I want in the music.
Yeah.
There's certain things, as I say, I've had to open out to the collaboration, because before it was just my little ideas in a laptop. I don't know. I think for me, it's sort of the other way. It's for me, it's kind of opening up and being able to do it. Relinquish the reins, as I say, and be open to other ideas. And this, what's so lovely about it is when I like them and they're good ideas, which is what we've always done. Which is why I had to become a band, because they were great ideas. I wasn't sat there sort of going, "Oh no, this sounds awful. I can't. What am I supposed to say to that?" All of them are like, "Oh, that's actually really good." So for me, it's been getting used to doing that, and then looking for elements that I like in the music, and because we're on the same wavelength, I do not have to sort of search for them there; they're already there. So for me, it was kind of, as I say, getting used to being open to the collab, and then just saying, "Yeah, I kind of like this idea," and then I sort of know that Karolina's not going to go, "That is pants, get rid of that idea." I know she's going to go, "Yeah, okay, but could we change it a bit?" And I'm like, "This is great." So for me, it's been more of that. As a freelance musician all my life, being able to be on the other side of the kind of studio screen, if you like, rather than being in the live room, but actually in the writing bit in the booth, it's been kind of interesting. So that's what it's kind of brought for me. I've met a new Rob through this.
Yeah.
Getting used to others' opinions, I guess, as well.
Yeah,
yes, we're not as
diplomatic. But you're straight talking. You are so straight talking, which is brilliant.
But now we are. But before, when we started, I was stepping back. Well, you say I didn't, but I did.
Well, you sort of tiptoed a bit, and now you just come down like a wrecking ball. But yeah, no.
But then now we're quicker at the recordings and stuff. We both say what we don't like, or sometimes I sing and you say as well that oh, maybe not that.
And even I'm allowed to sing, Ben, at times.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Karolina's.
Backing vocals and true.
Yeah, I'm on backing vocals on Martini Tree. One part, yeah.
I think that's really important, though, to have a cohesive unit where, it even goes back to like the Metallica documentary, Some Kind of Monster, where, it has to be about the music. What serves the track, not egos and, opposing thoughts and, oh no, we can't release that. That's awful.
Yeah.
What actually benefits this? What moves the needle,
Yeah.
Put
I
your
agree.
things aside and let's just get on with it, sort of thing.
That's so hard though for people.
It is.
That's why so many bands, as we all know, split up, because they can't handle the ego battles.
Definitely.
Especially when success comes in, So when success comes, we'll probably end up fighting, and that'll be the end
Getting
of it.
separate private jets to the same gig.
Yeah, that's right. Or REM, or I'm thinking of the old band, but
yeah.
But so a bit like that. But
Awesome. Hello, one and all. Fancy seeing you here. I just want to take a second to promote a product that's quite dear to my heart. I'm very pleased to announce that the podcast is now an affiliate for Vocal Zone. As a podcaster, as someone that wants to make this a part of my life, my voice, the ability to maintain my voice for a steady period of time as I record these episodes, make sure that it's in the most tip-top condition it can possibly be, is absolutely essential. For me to do this every single week means that I need some help. So Vocal Zone have come along and they've absolutely smashed it. I am a huge fan of Vocal Zone. I'm a huge fan of their pastels. And they don't just make pastels, they also make tea and they make throat spray. Throat spray is a really interesting one because typically with tea and pastels you have to actually sort of eat it or digest it and then it kicks in. Throat spray is pretty instant. It's really, really good. I can't recommend it enough. They are specifically formulated to relieve irritation from excessive speaking or singing to help you keep a clear voice. They have been doing this since 1912, and some of the most iconic artists of all time have relied on these products. One of the things that sets Vocal Zone apart is that they do not contain any anaesthetic that could potentially mask any underlying vocal damage. So you're not going to unknowingly sing or podcast yourself into more issues. The blend of ingredients is pretty unique. I must say, so is the taste. When you take one of these, I cannot explain to you how good your throat suddenly feels. There's this real sense of euphoria when you eat one of these. And they do a honey one, guys. Honey, like this boy. So yeah, if you're looking for a confidence boosting product that won't break the bank, please consider supporting the show and supporting Vocal Zone using the website. This will take you to a affiliate link and you'll get 10% off everything on their store. Please check out Vocal Zone. They do a lot for the local community around them, and I can't think of any product better to keep your throat and your voice in the best possible shape it can be.
Absolute bedlam.
So, the question that's on my mind, you might see I'm wearing a Russian Circle shirt. Rob, have you checked out Russian Circles yet, mate? We're all counting on you.
What time is it?
Fuck's
What an
sake.
interesting day.
What a nightmare. Make a
I've
note.
got to say,
Book a day off.
You're going to hate me. I'm so sorry. I've got all those links, but no, I haven't.
That's all right. I think they're about
I
to drop a
will
new
do
album,
that.
so that might be a really good time for you to get in, to be fair.
Well, do you remember what I said, though? I did actually meet, isn't it
Oh,
funny? I did
yeah.
actually watch a video before I met you.
With Dave on
Well,
drums.
I think we'd been talking, but before I actually physically met you, at the drum
Yeah,
show. And I thought, I've seen that band. And it's one of the links that you sent me. And I remember watching it. So isn't that funny? And then I meet you in person and then you recommend this thing that I stumbled across.
Yeah.
Life's weird sometimes. Yeah.
Our phones are listening to us. That's what that is.
Do you reckon it is? Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So if you allow Instagram to record audio or take pictures and you've got
God.
Instagram open, I absolutely believe that it is listening to us 100%. But I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Well, we send
Just
projects
a
over.
technical support person. I'm not a, social media expert by any stretch of imagination, but
Oh, okay.
there we go.
Well, we're not doing that anymore. No
But
more pictures.
if everyone's being monitored, then maybe it's just a sea of noise and no one
Well, there
cares.
you go.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, check them out. Sure you will at some point. But you are a
Yes.
very busy man, so I'll let you off. But yeah, I thought I'd just get that in there.
Yeah. Damn it. You said you had this question that was going to catch me out.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
Absolutely. So the song Crimson, I'm a real big fan of it. It kind of sounds like it was filmed in or recorded in some sort of crazy hallway, like some sort of chasm somewhere. Was that something that you put on as an effect, or was that just something on the day and the studio sounded that way and you were like, oh my God, we've got to lean into this crazy, moody noise?
There you go on your.
Well, yeah, it was put on the vocal. It wasn't like we went to Led Zepp, go into the house and made you sing at the bottom of a staircase, so it had the reverb. Though I like the idea of that. I should have said, yeah, shouldn't I? And told you some haunted house story.
Yeah.
But no, it was in the studio, Nam Studios, and just a character in the song, which to be fair, Karolina wasn't fond of particularly because it wasn't her words all the way through, though she did add loads of words. Um, but I was kind of the woman in the story needs to be a certain character. She needs to be two people basically. So at the end of the song, and I know the people at home haven't heard it yet, but
Mm.
it's almost like she's split personality. So there's a bit where she's looking in the mirror throughout the whole song, really talking as the shy character, the loving character, and almost the one looking back is the one full of hate and anger. And towards the end, we recorded you in different ways. So the other one starts whispering answers back through the mirror,
Okay.
more so than just a visual of it. So it's years of watching many horror films and hearing about split personalities and what have you, schizophrenic kind of stuff, relationships, life, bosses. It's all that thing when you actually see somebody for who they are, or you see different sides of somebody and they don't know you can see it. So it's almost like I was watching this character develop and do her thing, and I had to try and put it into some sort of context in the song. And I think we pulled it off. I think a few people have heard it, found it quite haunting,
Mm.
very dramatic. It's probably the most dramatic thing we've done so far. But we've also got a bossa nova that we're working on, which is even more dramatic than Crimson.
It's all very dramatic.
But that was it. So from my point of view, that's where it was coming from. And do you just want to talk a bit about how difficult it was in a way because you had to get into a character that you didn't write?
Yeah, I think I remember that morning. It was really stressful morning to go into the studio. No, it was yeah, I don't think we knew till the very end because you kept asking me when we did pre-production the day before we went to the recording, what do I have? And I was like, oh, I have some things. And I did prepare a lot and I did have sort of a melody idea, but then I feel like by the time we stepped into the studio, I was like, I don't really know. And then I just saw you closing the door of in the booth, and I was like, oh,
it's now or never.
Goodness. And suddenly something came out, and then you were like, yeah, maybe that. And at that time, I felt like I was working more on your song, and it was not a mutual project. So I really wanted to, like, for you to get what you wanted out of it because you wrote that, and it's really important. To get out of at that time session musician to sound like you're what you're imagining.
And the thing was, what I wanted was it's very easy to say to though I know you're a jazz vocalist, but I think you're a vocalist. You're not just a jazz vocalist. But the way you sing is so characterful and it's got a certain identity. And I didn't doing the jazz gigs, as I said before, I loved it. I thought it was great. And I thought this is a very different approach to jazz standards because it's your accent, it's how you sing, and it's your tone. Everything is important. And I've worked with so many singers that are all great, and some try and mimic Ella Fitzgerald or Sarah Vaughan or, Amy Winehouse or whichever point of time you look, Peggy Lee. But you just kind of sang them in your way because that's just you. You didn't try and emulate American accent. Do you know what I mean? And I've got so many people that do that. And again, nothing wrong with that. But it was just like, hang on a minute. So when you started singing my song, I was worried the minute the red light went on and you're in the booth. And I was thinking, how's this going to go? And you'd give me a few melody ideas, but as you said, not many. But I just didn't. Also, I didn't want Karolina to suddenly start singing in a jazzy tone. So it was like, oh, well, it's a jazz singer singing this sort of trip hop or whatever it is. It was different, and she came a bit like Beth Gibbons with Portishead. It's like you can't even describe, or Grace Jones, you can't describe what that is until you hear it. So you could easily sing, Glory Box or any of those Portishead songs with a more jazzy touch, and that would be fine. But Beth isn't that sort of singer, and I just thought I need to find that singer. And that's what I found in Karolina. She started, so I was a bit like, oh my goodness, how's this going to go? She came up with these melody lines in the middle eight. If you listen to the middle eight again, the middle eight section of the song where it changes, and you're singing "Light No Longer Comes Through the Window," that bit right in the middle of the song.
Yeah,
she did it once, I think, twice max, And I think you like the second one. Me and Jay, the engineer, were sat in there, and she sang that first one through. And it was the first time she was a little bit jazzy,
Mm.
but the way it sat in that middle A and the way she finished off, I think the line is "ever since you've been gone" or something at the end, which is a really sad part of the song. It was just beautiful. And he turned around to me and he was like, "Effing hell," and I was like, "Yeah." And of course, she was like, "Oh, that's rubbish. I need to go again."
Yeah,
We were
of
like,
course.
"No,
Yeah, of
no, we are
course.
not going again." All of the hairs
Always
on
the
the back
way.
of our neck went
Yeah,
up. Almost teary moment. Like
very
you're not
cool.
doing that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And even now, you listen to another song we've done called "Colors of the Day," which I know is a very complex song. But there's
Mhm.
things where you've sung some of that. It's going to break people's hearts. It's just like it's like when I do a drum part. Technically, I could do it better, but people say, "Listen, the way you played that, beautiful." And I now know what they meant, and I heard you doing it, and I was like, "We can't change that." The inflections in your voice, the little break in the bits here and there, it just
yeah.
it just screams. What's the word I'm looking for? You just draw people in.
Mm,
Um,
good.
and
Well, thank you.
well, that's what I've always told you that, and I just one I knew I chose correctly because again, you don't know the
No,
minute
you
you
don't
just.
know. Mm,
Um, and two, I was like, yes, we could work together. This is really gonna work.
yeah,
But they're not all going to be
awesome.
mellow songs and chilled, by the way, Ben. Like 100 Night Passes, as you heard, it's quite a shuffly,
Yeah,
up-tempo thing and a
Mhm.
bit more aggressive. And again, this was your idea of playing two characters, wasn't it? In a cafe, she's fed up, she's leaving this guy, and he keeps ringing. And then you've got that, why would you say that? The telephone
Mhm.
voice.
mm,
It's just great. And that's your thing, isn't it? Developing characters like any great, lyricist. You just
yeah.
develop characters and bring them on through the song,
Mm,
which
love
everyone
that.
does from David Bowie onwards.
Yeah,
You create these mystical characters and then you
mm,
make them breathe in that song and people see them as a
mm,
thing. And you
Can hear it and then they can decide. But yeah, we're 12. I mean, we enjoy it. And yeah.
well,
yeah.
you're good at it.
But
Well, you're good at it, so it's all good.
I think it has a really good hybrid mix of like sounding classic, but also still sounding quite of its time and quite modern at the same time. It's not a lot of songs like that. It's got a
Thank
bit of
you.
a Kate Bush running up that hill type vibe to it.
yeah,
I'll always take that. I'll always
There you
take
go. Just
that.
clip that, Jamie. Love that.
You know,
Um,
uh, yeah.
with regards to Midnight Neon as a drum perspective, Rob, have you got a desire now to buy more equipment? There are a couple more tambourines you need.
of course.
Anything like
Yeah,
that?
I'm going to be borrowing Carolina's credit card to get a few
Hell
more things.
yeah. She doesn't know
um,
about that yet, but there we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
now.
he
Does
knows
now.
now.
Yeah, shit. Time
Um,
to record.
Not really. I think if you listen to Martini True, the drums, I take a very lo-fi approach to recording um, drum parts for the project and for my own stuff.
Yeah.
I take a very lo-fi. So overheads, and if I'm not using toms, there's not big fills on this song. I just use the bass drum mic, snare on the mic on the shell and the top, and a hi hat, and that's it. Really basic. I'm not going to go for. I just want the groove to come across, and I want it to, like I say, almost be lo-fi. Like Beck. Beck has made loads of albums that are really lo-fi.
Yeah.
Jack White, loads of different people have made lo-fi records.
Mm.
Glory Box, like Porter said, let's face it, Dummy, that's a very kind of lo-fi record, and there's something to be said for that. I like multi-million Billie Eilish things as well. They sound superb.
Mm.
But for this project, personally, I've got a Linn drum over there. I've got a newer Linn drum. We've got Band in a Box in Logic or GarageBand and live drums. I don't need to ship in loads of new drums, loads of new cymbals. Keeping it real and keeping it basic, I
Mm.
think, is where it's at, and letting the voice do all the stuff, because people said, "Oh, you're not doing any flashy things on any of the songs." It's like, well, why would I? I don't need to. The song is speaking for itself. The song is the
Yeah.
vehicle. I almost feel, Ben, like I'm
Mm.
a session musician in my own band.
Mm.
I'm not going to put any of my personality, chops wise or whatever, into the
Mm.
song because it would need it. And then you'd look at me and go, "What the hell is that?" And I'd go, "Yeah, you're right. Why have I done that? I don't. That doesn't serve the song. That's just me
Yeah.
being Rob on a Rob track. There's no.
Yeah,
I've got
there's
no.
something quite liberating and also quite diplomatic, as we mentioned earlier, and democratic about sharing the spotlight versus like the Rob Brian project feat Karolina, and this was always a thing in Motorhead out of all the bands in the world that I could have possibly named, where Eddie
Excellent.
Clark, Eddie
Love
Clark, the
them.
guitarist, at one point wanted to be Motorhead feat Eddie Clark, and Lemmy was
Really
like, just leave, like
good.
just get out, like I'm not
That's
interested.
insane.
Yeah,
I
and
never heard that.
like this is a bit of a thing I think where the attrition can get a bit much for some people, and some single musicians in a band can get quite big and successful by themselves, and
Yeah,
they go solo, and then the solo thing becomes bigger than the actual thing that made them famous in the first place. And yeah, it's cool that
yeah.
you're willing to sort of drop the, what's the word, like the, not the ego, but like share the wealth.
Well, the next single is Carolina featuring Rob Brian.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
no, not
yeah.
at all. I mean, the nice
Next,
thing is we've got
Not yet.
not yet anyway. Yeah, and like you say, you've got so many things going on that
yeah,
this is really a collab. It really is all the way
it's
down the
cool.
line.
I think we're both busy enough to know that there's not really.
Yeah,
It's just nice to share that, and when we both works, we put enough effort and equal amount of effort for this
Yeah,
band. I think they're like,
yeah,
we're glad to be, so I mean, successful together. I guess
yeah.
if both as a band.
And the thing is, there's something about vocalists and singers and drummers. You
mm,
know, like there's a strong bond with Susie and the Banshees and
mm,
Budgie. Susie, Sue, and Budgie. There's Phil Collins with himself. There's a real strength there that sometimes like guitarists and keyboard players, they're all important, and I love them all. We all love them all. But there's certain things that happen with egos and placement in the hierarchy. When you're working with just drums and voice,
mm.
I don't know, it seems to bypass all that ego grandstand of, oh, should we go into a certain scale here and all that? Like to be honest, I haven't got that education. I mean, you've got a bit of that, but more than me. But between us, we're not going to try and knock each other out with our knowledge of,
Okay.
melodic music. I'll hit a note and go,
Yeah, yeah.
that's not any good. If Carolina go, no, it's shite. And I go, oh, right. Oh, what if I do this? And she'll go,
Yeah.
well, is there another noise in there? Another sound? I go, oh, what about this? That's it. And there's something really lovely and wombly about that,
Yeah.
finding stumbling across it together
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than go, well, I think if I did a Lydian scale and all that, which
Hmm.
is knowledge is power, I know, but sometimes it takes away this kind of, I don't know, kind of backstreet way of doing it, which is kind of fun
Yeah.
just experimenting with keyboards and stuff. Going, what does this do?
And especially at this stage, I think. I mean, later on, maybe the guitarists joining us or bass players, maybe they can bring that a bit of more knowledge that we both sometimes don't have.
Yes,
But at this
yeah.
stage right now, it's just the basics, the creative ideas that we have. So it's just nice to have that, like just like that raw as we created.
Well, I think that's the word raw. I think raw. The more people I'm watching, we were talking about YouTube earlier, and I was on about some aeroplane thing. We won't talk about it now, but
Yeah.
I watched a lot of interviews with different people, and people are now saying, whether it be like Rick Beato or something, that raw is where it's at. People are
Yeah.
fed up of really pristine, polished AI nonsense,
Hmm.
and I think we're a bit warts and all, and I think there's something about
Hmm.
that. I think
Hmm.
there's people want to hear real music, and even though Martini True is part electronic, part live, there's a lovely combination to be had between those two worlds. It's like we're not going straight AI, we're not going straight analog. We're
Mm,
bridging that gap with some cinema, as I
mm,
say, cinematic kind of vibes. Because Martini
Mm.
True gets massive towards the end. We were on a radio thing the other week, and the DJ after he played it, because we thought he was going to fade it out, because it's a long
Yeah.
track, I know. And at the end, he said, "Guys, the way it just builds and it builds and it drops
mhm,
and it builds, it's like, oh my God." And by the end, it's almost like
mhm.
overwhelming. And we love that. We love that cinematic thing, don't we?
And also like that it has spoken words and at parts I sing, but it's also not just showing off of like how good of the singer I could be or anything. It's going by the emotion, which you sort of taught me that was because at the beginning when he told me to like do any spoken words, I was like, oh, the people will think that I can't sing or that and that. So it's and now it's like hearing the emotion and the final product, I'm like, oh, actually, this is really really good. So it's a
But,
lot of
Awesome.
exploration.
Yeah.
well, you're not
Mm.
just talking. I mean, like, you've got all the tracks, Ben. On Martini True, she's whispering, she's talking, she's doing lots of different things, which I just think. sometimes people forget that the voice is an instrument in its own right.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
when someone says, "Oh, bung a violin, like bung this on it," it's like, well, why can't we get the voice doing it? And I wanted to, my thing is to build your voice as a whole sort of soundscape within the music. And actually, the drums and everything are almost taking a back seat, but I'm loving that because I can work on the arrangements with you. It becomes a different thing. It's not like you said, Ben, it's not an ego thing. It's like if the
Yeah.
voice can whisper, do these things, and
Mm.
then it brings a whole different thing. So it's totally instrument, and you're getting
Yeah.
really good at it. Glad you took it on board, but it was difficult to start with. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to whisper. I
Fantastic.
don't do whispers. I was like, you do
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna sound great.
Well, yeah, I had to like learn how to do.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think just people have said, what's the word I'm looking for? Not fragile, not naivety. There's a word I'm looking for that everyone's using about your voice, which is really lovely, and I just can't remember what it is. It's like when you're happy to give yourself over, you're not shy of being honest. What's that word I'm looking for? I can't think what it is. But a few people have said, you draw people in with that, and I can't think what it is. I'm trying to think
Like
of it.
alluring.
Yeah, it's along those lines. Yeah, it's along those lines. And
Mm.
I think when people hear Crimson later on down the road, because
Mm.
it's kind of Martini True-esque, but I think Martini True is more of a, even though I'm proud of Crimson, it's more our thing.
Mm.
Midnight Neon is Martini True. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Anyway, I'll stop talking. I'm talking too much.
That's all right. No
It's
worries.
fine.
So Midnight Neon release, what does that currently look like? What's your ETA, bearing in mind we're currently in the middle of May?
What releases? Well,
It's going to be late June, early July
I
for
think
100.
I think for the next song, definitely. I think we have some stuff already booked to work on in June, and I think if we can push it through, then should be hopefully July. I'll make sure that it's at least July.
That's one good thing I say, Ben. Carolina, we sit down in the studio and she'll say, right, here's my diary. This is what we need to do. We need to get this out. And
Yeah.
I'll be going, yeah, I know you're busy. I'm busy. What about it? She's like, no, give me a date. Let's get a
Yeah,
date.
man.
And I need dates.
This is
Do you know
my
what I mean?
life. Yeah,
I think
this
we
is
It
my
does
life.
help.
Yeah. Get the
And then
fucking
when
date in the
I
diary.
need that.
Yeah.
May have the Martini True, and we sort of both got really, really busy and tired in the end of April, and we were like, "Why are we doing this to ourselves?" Because we're like, nobody is
Yeah.
asking us that we must.
Self-imposed
I was like, we need
deadlines.
to
Yeah.
push through and do that, and we did, and
Mhm.
now we're like, "Oh, this is nice."
Yeah. And it was well worth it, wasn't it? But if it
Mhm.
wasn't for you, I would be still, oh, it's coming out soon, guys. But you're the one who, and like we say, in every relationship, you need that,
Mhm.
partner or whatever two people you want to use.
Yes,
You
you
need that
do.
person who pushes the other and goes, it's coming out then. So finish what you got to do. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. And all the other Jack and Ori stuff out my brain goes, and I'm like, yeah, I got to finish
Completely.
this mix. Dead right.
Mhm. So
So without
true.
that, you never release anything. So I'm thankful for that as well.
And you've got a
Something
gig,
firm agreement.
and you got a gig in June.
It's
In Chippenham,
yeah,
at the
Okay.
Waverley,
yep.
and I believe it's on the 17th of June.
It's the 17th of June.
So what's
And the thing
that?
is, what's lovely about the Waverley is it's a little wine bar in Chippenham. Chippenham's not a massive town, but it's a cute little place. And a friend of ours, Nigel, does this album listening appreciation every month.
Oh,
And he
right.
raises money for Dorothy House, which is a local hospice, if you like, end of life, type thing. And I've had family members that have gone there and friends that have gone there to finish their days. And I've done a few things for them in the past, and I was more than happy to do it. When he approached me and said, "Would you be happy to come in and talk about an album?" Because I was new to the area a couple of years ago when I first met him, and he said, "Would you like to pick an album?" So I picked "Talk Talk," "Color of Spring." He said, "Great, come. That's a classic album. Come in and talk about it." And then when he met Carolina and found we were doing stuff, he said, "Why don't you come in and do something and just play?" So it's all for charity. So if people want to come along, you can donate. You can pay by card or cash. He's got the machines there and everything. And we're going to be playing the Massive Attack album, Mezzanine, which we thought was kind of similar to where
Yeah.
we're coming from.
And it was nice because we played a little gig in December for Christmas.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
And people were telling to us that they're looking forward to hearing what we do with this original music. So
Yeah.
it feels really exciting, and I feel like
Mhm.
it'll be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a
I
gig. It's not like going to have all the visuals, unfortunately. Though we have got a lot of the visuals all ready to go. But
yeah.
obviously, in a venue like that, it's in the upstairs kind of area of a bar. It's not really ready for big screens and everything. It's more of an intimate performance, and we'll be
Yeah.
doing Martini True and
Crimson.
Crimson, and we'll do 100 night passes, won't we? Probably.
Yeah.
That's the set. It's going to be those three songs. So
I
yeah.
will try to come to it if it's on a Wednesday night.
Oh
It is
wow,
Wednesday.
I
Yeah,
will
yeah.
try. I can't promise anything. My
that would be
fucking
great.
calendar this year is absolutely insane. I will try.
Oh,
Um,
lovely. That'd be
yeah,
great.
Great. And
yeah,
also, if anyone else would like to just come hang out, they can just please support Dorothy House and
Yes.
Nigel, and just come hang out and just hear about. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna be very key. So
I
Yeah,
love the
exactly.
idea of just listening to someone talk about an album. There's something really like weirdly retro, but probably should be a little bit more,
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
rather than, obviously we all listen to podcasts and we all watch YouTube videos of like video essay why the Who is the most important band on the planet and all this sort of stuff. But actually, just listening to someone talk about something that they're educated in is quite a nice, easygoing evening, I imagine.
It is, and Nice raises a lot of money for charity. And it's very. I'm actually there tomorrow night doing one for Miles Davis, the jazz trumpeter. I think it would have been 100 tomorrow if he'd been
Oh
alive.
wow.
So I'm there. Is it tomorrow? It is
is
tomorrow,
it
isn't it?
next week?
It might be next week, actually.
Hmm,
Yeah, it might be.
very
I've
cool.
got that wrong. I think it's next week. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, mind you, this will be going out at a different point anyway. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
probably
next.
the end of this month. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
I'm looking. You're right. I'm so. I would have been there tomorrow night otherwise. Yeah. So I'm there doing that, and as I say, it's for charity, and I just can't wait to do it because I think the thing about the Midnight Neon stuff is I think yes, the big stage with the big screen and the things projecting on us and behind us is a thing, but I think the songs stand up for themselves when it's just the two of us. I'll be on drums, obviously, and I'll have the sequencer there and stuff, and you'll obviously be singing. I think that's the songs are the like you said, the word emote and emotion. They emote enough, I think,
Mhm.
just to work with the two of us in intimate lighting in a jazz bar. I think they'll come across.
I think even in the dream world, if we would have a bigger stage and stuff, we would probably will still try to make make that quite intimate, and yeah, that people would be able to connect with us. So yeah.
Yes, I think the intimacy is yeah. I don't want to talk about the state of music because it's in a really
Mm.
good state. There's some great things, but I think
Yeah,
the intimacy and the rawness, the intimacy of stuff is missing a little bit. I would say
definitely.
a little
Um,
bit.
anything you want to plug? Obviously, I'm aware that Rob's going to be at Echo Town on Saturday. Unfortunately, I can't make that.
Oh, I was going to say you're
Is
going to
there
come.
anything going on other than that?
Um,
You've got a few things going on. She's got a few things going
I
on.
think well, if anyone is around on next Saturday, which date?
I don't know. Where are we now?
Is
The 12th of May. Is that
the
the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th,
23rd?
23rd?
Yeah, 23rd. If anyone is around Bristol, the Carolina's Jazz Club will be running at the Crafty Egg and Fish Ponds, and then I'm playing a In It Together 2026 festival in Wales on the 22nd,
I don't know.
which is next. Oh my God, we're so bad.
That's next week. 20
uh, yeah, next Friday.
next Friday.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is so bad. Anyways,
That's all right.
22nd of May, I'm playing with Luca Powell, a lovely jazz duo that we have in Wales for our In It Together 2026 festival. So if anyone's around, come say hello.
And we're going to be at Radio Bristol, is it? Is it Radio Bristol?
BSFM, yeah, we're going to be on the radio. My teacher will be played in Bristol for the first time on the 6th of June.
Yes.
And I'll go to have a quick chat.
Yeah.
Because you'll be playing at the Highworth.
I'm not available. I'll be playing at the Highworth Jazz Festival with my quartet at 5 o'clock at the Highworth Jazz Festival, and also at 11 o'clock with Bob Bowles, who's kicking the whole thing off. So yeah, I mean, and I've got a masterclass coming up in Swindon, but I just can't remember when it is. I've got it in front of me. Oh dear, I should have brought dates. But yes, but I'm like doing master classes and drum clinics, so as well as gigging with various people. So just done a little bit with Hugh Cornwell from the Stranglers. But look at my Instagram or
Yep.
Rob Brian Drummer or my YouTube. I'm sure Ben will
Hmm.
ping stuff for me and you on there so people can
Hmm.
check out what we're doing
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
collectively and individually and
Very cool.
like
Yeah, lots going on. We
yeah,
are
world domination, Ben, basically, is what we're
approaching the
looking for.
festival season of everything as well, I feel, with summer coming around the corner and
Yeah.
yeah, lots of opportunities coming up and lots of live shows. Very cool.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad it's still going on because this day and age, it's everyone's worried about AI, as I've said before, and you know people are still putting money in their faith in live music, which is great, and people are still coming out to see it. And I always say to people, I know we've all got bills, and it's hard to go and see your favorite band or a local band, but if you got the want to do it, then please do it because it helps. It helps the theatre, the pub,
Yeah.
the arena. Dare I say it? It helps everybody. It helps the musicians, and they have a great time. And I always say when people come to see something, it lasts for longer than just that night. It lasts for a week, 2 weeks. They tell somebody else who tells somebody else
Yeah.
who's like, oh, that's so and so, Midnight Neon. Oh, aren't they so and so?
Mm.
I saw her at a jazz festival. Does she do that? Or, oh, he's that old codger who plays drums with Susie. Does he also do that? It's funny how these things work, and
100%.
and if the wheel stops turning, then everything just stops. So,
Yeah,
I'd encourage
completely.
people to keep doing what they're doing. Keep supporting
Yeah.
us, and we'll keep supporting you, basically.
Yeah. Check them out in the description below, guys. And yeah, it's been lovely speaking to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's always great speaking to you, Rob.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
long may it
Yeah, it
continue.
was good to meet you, man. We had a good
Yeah,
time at the
yeah.
drum.
Yeah, it
Nice
was
to
good
hang.
fun. Really enjoyed that.
Talk
Yeah,
about
that's good. Nice one.
definitely.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye bye.